information system commonly found in organizations. So this topic consists of three subtopics, which is the office and user productivity support system, the decision working support system, and the transaction processing system. So I am going to discuss this topic and this subtopic. So let's start. So first is the office and user productivity support system, and it talks about all the relationship between the office and the user, how they are going to be productive to support the system or their system. So companies provide employees at all levels with technology that improves productivity. And so companies, of course, they have their employees, they have their office, and how they're going to do things that their company will going to level up. So they have their technology, and of course they need this kind of this technology to make their company more productive. So there are an example of productivity system to the company, and and it includes email, voicemail, fax, video conferencing, word processing, automated calendars, database management, spreadsheet, desktop publishing, presentation graphics, common internet, and high-speed internet access. So these are the example of the user productivity system that company needs to make their company level up. So or more, I mean more productive rather. And user productivity system also includes groupware. So the productivity system of the user also include groupware. So what is groupware? Groupware programs run on a company intranet and enable users to share data, collaborate in projects, and works in teams. So that is the groupware program means. And Groupwise, offered by Novel, it is a popular example of groupware. So Groupwise is an example of groupware. So groupware programs, um, it is part of company internet or the run in a company internet. So it is important in a company that because it is useful because it enables users to share data. Of course, it's very important. Collaborate in projects. Yes, indeed, and work in teams, which is the company must take first, and it really matters to work in team. Um, Next is, so we're done on the office and user productivity support system, and now we're going to talk about the transaction processing system or the TPS. So what is transaction processing system or TPS? Transaction processing system is a type of information system that collects, store, modifies, and retrieves the data transaction of an enterprise. So, transaction processing system or the TPS is the information system that collects, of course, store and collects data, stores data, modifies and retrieves the data transaction of an enterprise. So, transaction processing system also attempt to provide predictable response times to request, although this is not as critical as for real-time systems. So, transaction processing system is a way of computing that divides work into individual, indivisible operations, which is called transaction. Again, transaction processing system is a way of computing that divides work into individual, indivisible, indivisible operations, which is called transaction. So that is transaction means, which is divided work into individual, divisible, and operations. And a transaction processing system is a transaction processing system is also a software system. So it is an example of an software system, the transaction processing system. And It is a software or hardware combination. So both software and hardware system have the transaction processing system, and it supports the transaction process. So it means software and hardware combination. It is a combination that supports the TPS or the transaction processing system. So the transaction rather processing system consists of computer hardware and software that hosting a transaction-oriented application that performs the routine transactions necessary to conduct business. So the TPS is not only for collect, stores data, or process only for PCs or computers. It are online. It also necessary to conduct a business. And an example of this are system that manage sales order entry. So TPS is needed in this one, the airline reservation and the payroll. It also conducts these employee records, manufacturing, and shipping. So what is the main function of the TPS or the transaction processing system? So the main function of TPS is provide an execution environment that ensures the integrity, availability, and security of data. So those are the main function of the TPS. They also ensure they also ensure fast response time and high transaction throughout. So TPS is very important anywhere you go. And so, what is the importance of transaction processing system? So, the main function was to ensure the integrity and availability and security of the data. So here are the importance of transaction processing system. So, the TPS keeps a stable database and reduce risk of loss of user information with the occurrence of terminal or network failure. So, TPS work function it works in a stable database and reduce risk of loss of user information. So if you have this kind of transaction processing system, it is very helpful when it comes to occurrence of terminal or network failure because it keeps stable your user information, and it reduces the risk of it. And the TPS is able to effectively recover from operating system failure and also handle system failures depending on what stage the transaction was in when the system failure occurred. So it reduces risk as what it said earlier, as what I said earlier. So that we're going to discuss the last one, the last topic, which is the decision making support system. So in a company or they are and when you have to talk about your information, you have to decide, really need to decide what is the most important thing you have to do to make your information system or organization work. So you have this what we call decision making support system. So what is decision making support system? This is decision support system, or other called this one is the DSS. It's a computerized program used to support determinations, judgments, and courses of action in an organization or a business. Uh, so, the, so the decision support system, so it is a computerized program and it really used to support determinations, judgments, and courses of action in organization or in an organization or judge or a business. So it is really important to an organization this decision support system because it will going to judge to decide what we're going to do to make your organization more informative and productive. And a DSS or the decision support system sift through and analyzes massive amounts of data, compiling comprehensive information that can be used to solve problems and in decision making. So what I said earlier is the decision making process is or the system is really important because you're going to gather more information, more data, and you are going to decide what were you going to do to make your organization or problem solve easily and organization more productive. So next is they so these are some function or main function of the DSS or the decision making process. So it evolves on this within it these 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 things evolve on the decision making process. So first is evolve DSS. First is aggregate data. It DSS can aggregate data, synthesize information. So it is very important to synthesize some information and create intelligence. So this is the main one to work up in your mind to make the problem more easily to conduct. And also it define problem. What is the purpose and what we're going to need to solve the problem, and design so alternatives, choose which is the context or the information you are going to choose to make the decision more productive, and of course implement or the implementing to what are you going to do, or you're going to implement some things to make your decision more productive to solve some problems. And of course it can grow knowledge, and that is the most important one and really matter one. And next, so DSS or the decision making process categorized into 5 types. So what are the main or the 5 types of decision support system? So number one is communication driven DSS. So most communication driven DSS are targeted at internal teams including partners. So if you're going to have your decision making, you have an a person or a partner to agree on what are the ideas you're going to do to make the problem more really what we call um if it is the thing you're going to do to make the problem more easier to solve. And the next one is the data driven or the or DSS. No, data driven DSS rather. So most data driven DSS are targeted at managers, staff, and also product service suppliers. So data driven or DSS is commonly used by the managers, staff, that is employees of a company, and also product and service suppliers. Next one is the document driven DSS. So of course when you're going to this to make your decision, you have to take note all the important things you're going to do. So this is for documenting. And knowledge, of course, knowledge, and the model driven TSS. So the here is the example, one of the example of the decision support system. So it includes the GPS route planning. One of these, this is one of the example. So a DSS can be used to plan the fastest and best routes between 2 points by analyzing the available options, and these systems often include the capability to monitor traffic in real life or the real-time route around congestion. So that is an example of decision support system about planning the GPS route, and they're going to plan what is the fastest way or the best way um, about the route of the GPS planning, and it is available in analyzing the two options, the fastest and best way of routes. So the next one is the characteristics. So there are some characteristics of the decision support system. So the decision support system, or the characteristics of it, are attributes of a decision support system. So some attributes. So first one is the adaptability and flexibility. So we're going to have your decision. Of course, you are going to think if it is flexible and adaptive. Then high level of interactivity, ease of use. So it must be useful, and efficiency and effectiveness. So when you have your decision, you must think that of course it will be effective at the end. And complete control by decision makers, ease of development, extendability, support for modeling and analysis. So that is the that is the characteristics of this. So adaptability and flexibility, high level interactivity, ease of use. So this is this as efficiency and effectiveness, complete control by decision makers, ease of development, extendability. So extend it is extendable. So support for modeling and analysis. So the importance. So here is the importance of decision support system. So it is very important, of course. So decision support system allow for more informed decision making, timely problem solving, of course, and improve efficiency in dealing with issues, operations, planning, and even management. So even managing decision support system allow you to inform decision making. So it can improve your decision making ideas and timely problem solving. It can easily solve your problem and improve efficiency with issues operations. So decision support system can easily improve on how you can deal with the issues or operations that you are facing, in planning, of course. If you have a problem, you have to decision, and you have to plan what you're going to do, and even management or managing. So that's it. Thank you, Sir Denver Pamiano, my ITZ 100 instructor, and I am Manette Manamanting, BSIT 1C student. So, thank you for listening. I hope you have you get even few ideas about my topics, and I don't really good at English spoken. So I hope you're enjoying my discussion. How can I say that? I hope you enjoyed my discussion for today. So keep learning and enjoy learning. Continue, keep preaching. That's all. Thank you for today.